Stop reacting to every insult, provocation, or misunderstanding. Reaction is emotional surrender. When you react instantly, you give others control over your behavior. Power begins where emotional impulse ends. Let them speak. Let them assume. Silence forces people to confront their own uncertainty. The one who stays calm dictates the emotional temperature of the room. Control your face, your tone, your timing. A composed mind is more intimidating than an aggressive one. Emotional discipline is silent dominance. Stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Explanations are often wasted on those who seek control, not clarity. The more you explain, the more you appear defensive. Mystery builds authority. Overclarification weakens it. Speak once, clearly and briefly. Then stop. Let your actions validate your words. Powerful individuals are not in the habit of justifying their existence. When you stop explaining, you subtly communicate that your position does not require approval. Ignore small provocations strategically. Not everything deserves your attention. Attention is currency, and you must spend it wisely. Some people provoke simply to feel significant. If you respond, you reward them. If you ignore them, you starve them. Strategic ignorance is not weakness, it is selective focus. When you refuse to engage in trivial battles, you preserve energy for meaningful victories. The disciplined mind understands that not every fight increases power. Control your emotional displays. Visible frustration, anger, or desperation reveals leverage points others can exploit. Machiavellian thinking values emotional concealment. The less others know about what moves you, the harder you are to manipulate. Smile when necessary. Remain neutral when attacked. Your unpredictability becomes your shield. Emotional transparency may feel honest, but strategic opacity creates advantage. In power dynamics, what remains unseen often holds the greatest strength. Let silence create discomfort. Most people rush to fill silence because they fear awkwardness. Do not. Silence is psychological pressure. When you pause after someone speaks, they often reveal more than intended. Silence forces others to question themselves. It shifts control of the interaction. The person who is comfortable with silence appears confident and self-contained. Master the pause. In negotiation, conflict, or debate, silence can say more than arguments ever could. Detach from the need to be understood. Not everyone deserves access to your reasoning. When you obsess over being understood, you become emotionally dependent on others' perception. True strength lies in indifference to approval. Focus on outcomes, not impressions. If your strategy works, opinions become irrelevant. Let them misunderstand you temporarily if it protects your long-term position. Influence grows stronger when you are less concerned with explaining yourself. Do not correct every false narrative about you. Sometimes letting people believe a harmless misconception serves your advantage. If you chase every rumor, you appear insecure. Instead, observe who spreads it and why. Information reveals alliances and threats. Power players collect data before responding. Often, time destroys lies faster than confrontation. Preserve your energy for threats that truly matter. Reputation is best defended by consistent results, not emotional reactions. Choose absence as a tactic. Withdrawal can be more powerful than confrontation. When you remove your presence, people feel the gap. Your silence becomes noticeable. Your distance becomes a statement. Overexposure reduces value. Selective availability increases it. Make people work for your time and attention. Absence creates curiosity. Curiosity creates leverage. Sometimes the strongest move is not stepping forward, but stepping back strategically. Refuse to argue with emotional thinkers. Logical debates with emotionally invested people rarely produce clarity. They seek validation, not truth. Engaging them only drains your focus. A calm refusal to participate unsettles them more than a counter-argument. When you stop arguing, you end the performance. Remember, arguments are often competitions for dominance, not understanding. The most powerful position is walking away untouched. Preserve your internal world. Not every thought deserves expression. Not every feeling requires display. Guard your intentions. Reveal only what is necessary. Strategic restraint protects your plans and emotional energy. When you become selective about what you share, you strengthen your influence. Silence, detachment, and composure are not passive traits, they are calculated decisions. Master your reactions, and you master the psychological battlefield. Master the art of delayed response. Immediate replies reveal eagerness, and eagerness reduces perceived power. When you pause before answering messages, invitations, or provocations, you subtly shift the balance. Time creates psychological weight. Others begin to wonder about your priorities. The one who controls timing controls tension. Do not be available on demand. Make your response intentional, not emotional. Strategic delay communicates independence, and independence builds authority. Use indifference as armor. When someone expects emotional reaction and receives calm detachment instead, it unsettles them. Indifference is powerful because it denies validation. Many conflicts survive on emotional fuel. Remove the fuel and the fire weakens. Show that your peace cannot be negotiated or provoked. Emotional neutrality forces others to question your importance in your life. Nothing feels colder than being treated as irrelevant. Speak less than necessary. The more you talk, the more information you leak. Words expose strategy, emotion, and insecurity. Controlled speech creates mystique. Let others overshare while you observe. Information gathered silently is power stored. When you finally speak, let your words be precise and measured. Brevity suggests confidence. The quiet presence in a room often carries more influence than the loudest voice seeking attention. Do not chase closure. Not every conflict requires resolution. Sometimes leaving things unfinished gives you leverage. When you chase closure, you signal emotional attachment. Detachment creates strength. Accept that some questions will remain unanswered. Walk away without the final word. The desire to win every argument is emotional weakness disguised as pride. True control comes from knowing when to end engagement without explanation. Protect your vulnerabilities. Never reveal what deeply hurts you to those who have not earned trust. In competitive environments, exposed weaknesses become tools for manipulation. Share selectively and observe carefully. The less others know about your emotional triggers, the harder you are to destabilize. Strength is not about feeling nothing, it is about controlling who gets access to your sensitive information. Let others underestimate you. When people believe you are less capable or less aware, they lower their guard. Underestimation is strategic camouflage. It allows you to observe without threat. Do not rush to prove your intelligence or strength. Let results surprise them. Sudden competence creates impact. Quiet preparation followed by decisive action is more effective than constant self-promotion. Withdraw validation strategically. Compliments, attention, and approval are forms of currency. When you give them freely, they lose value. When you offer them selectively, they become powerful. People are conditioned to seek validation. When it is removed, they feel its absence. Use this carefully and ethically. Control over validation shifts emotional dependence. The one who controls emotional rewards controls influence. Detach from emotional bait. Some people provoke intentionally to test your limits. They look for cracks in your composure. Do not take the bait. Recognize patterns instead of reacting to words. Emotional traps are designed to make you defend, argue, or over-explain. Instead, respond with calm or silence. When manipulation fails, manipulators grow frustrated. Your stability becomes your silent victory. Make unpredictability your advantage. Predictable behavior makes you easy to control. When others can anticipate your reactions, they can design strategies around them. Change your patterns occasionally. Stay composed, but not mechanical. Let people wonder what you will do next. Uncertainty creates psychological caution. When people are unsure about your response, they tread carefully around you.
Invest energy only where returns exist. Not every relationship deserves your effort. Not every challenge deserves your time. Ruthless psychology demands selective engagement. When you stop trying to fix everyone, save everyone, or convince everyone, your focus sharpens. Channel your attention towards growth, strategy, and long-term power. Ignoring distractions is not avoidance, it is disciplined prioritization.
Use emotional contrast strategically. Be warm when others expect coldness, and cold when they expect warmth. This controlled unpredictability keeps people psychologically off balance. When your emotional responses cannot be easily predicted, others hesitate before challenging you. They become cautious. Consistency builds comfort, contrast builds tension, and tension creates influence. Never allow people to fully map your emotional blueprint. Control access to your attention. Attention is power, and access to you should not be unlimited. When you respond to everyone instantly, you lower your perceived value. Make your focus selective. Let people earn your time. Scarcity increases importance. When your presence is rare but impactful, it becomes respected. Overexposure weakens authority. Controlled availability strengthens it. Mirror behavior selectively. If someone is distant, become slightly more distant. If someone is respectful, reward it subtly. People unconsciously adjust to reflections of themselves. By mirroring strategically, you teach others how to treat you without confrontation. It is silent correction. When you stop overgiving and start matching energy, you protect your emotional investment and reset power dynamics naturally. Do not reveal your final move too early. Strategy requires patience. When you announce intentions prematurely, resistance forms. Instead, move quietly. Observe reactions, gather information, then act decisively. Silence during preparation creates surprise during execution. The less others know about your plans, the less they can interfere. Surprise is often more powerful than force. Make detachment visible but controlled. When someone attempts emotional manipulation, calmly reduce engagement. Shorter replies, less enthusiasm, less presence. This subtle withdrawal sends a message without drama. People notice shifts in energy before they notice words. Detachment signals that access to you is conditional. When respect decreases, availability decreases. This creates natural behavioral correction. Refuse to compete for attention. Desperation to be noticed weakens influence. Let others seek validation and spotlight. Stay grounded. The one who does not chase attention often attracts it. Calm confidence outshines loud insecurity. When you stop trying to prove yourself, your presence becomes more authentic and powerful. Silence in a noisy room carries weight. Learn to end conversations first. Whether in debate, negotiation, or casual talk, leaving first restores control. Do not linger for approval or extra validation. Exit with composure. A calm ending leaves psychological residue. People remember those who leave confidently. Ending interactions on your terms strengthens your internal authority and subtly reinforces external respect. Observe more than you speak in conflict. Emotional people expose strategy through words and tone. While they vent, you analyze. While they react, you measure. Patience in conflict reveals weaknesses in others' arguments and character. The calm observer collects leverage. Let others exhaust themselves emotionally. When you respond, keep it brief and controlled. Disconnect ego from strategy. Many lose power because they defend pride instead of protecting position. Being right is not always being powerful. Sometimes silence wins more than argument. Sometimes walking away protects more than proving a point. Ego demands reaction. Strategy demands discipline. Choose long-term advantage over short-term satisfaction. Finally,
Understand that ignoring is not avoidance, it is selection. You are not disengaging from life, you are choosing where to engage. Power grows when you become selective with emotion, explanation, and reaction. Not everything deserves your mind. Not everyone deserves your response. When you master what to ignore, you master yourself and those who try to control you.
Learn to weaponize calmness. When someone raises their voice, lowers their tone. When someone attacks, slow your breathing. Extreme calm in chaotic moments creates psychological imbalance. People expect resistance, not stillness. Your composure makes them question their aggression. The calmer you remain, the more irrational they appear. Emotional contrast shifts social perception in your favor. Calmness is not passivity, it is controlled dominance under pressure. Delay emotional gratification. Do not satisfy your urge to defend yourself immediately. The desire to respond quickly is emotional hunger. Discipline it. Wait. Observe how situations unfold without your interference. Often, people expose themselves when you remain silent. Patience turns time into your ally. The one who reacts first often reveals more than intended. The one who waits gathers advantage. Refuse emotional negotiations. Some individuals attempt to bargain with your feelings, guilt, sympathy, fear. Recognize the tactic. Do not reward emotional pressure with explanation. A simple, firm boundary delivered without emotion is stronger than a dramatic defense. Emotional manipulators depend on your reaction. Remove reaction, and their leverage weakens. Strength is measured by your ability to say no without emotional turbulence. Create psychological distance before physical distance. Even when present, reduce emotional accessibility. Listen, but do not absorb. Engage, but do not attach. This internal detachment prevents others from influencing your mood. Emotional independence protects your clarity. When people realize they cannot control your state, they lose psychological influence. Control your inner environment before attempting to control the outer one. Respond to patterns, not incidents. Single events can be misleading. Patterns reveal intention. Do not overreact to isolated provocations. Instead, observe repetition. When behavior repeats, respond strategically and minimally. Address the pattern calmly or withdraw attention entirely. This measured approach prevents emotional overinvestment and strengthens your authority. Strategy is built on observation, not impulse. Let consequences teach lessons instead of arguments. Not every mistake requires confrontation. Sometimes silence combined with natural consequences creates stronger correction. When you argue, people defend themselves. When consequences occur, they reflect. Remove yourself from drama and allow reality to respond. Emotional lectures fade, silent consequences remain. Detachment paired with consistency builds long-term respect. Control your micro-expressions. Subtle facial reactions reveal internal states. Raised eyebrows, tightened lips, quick glances. These small signals expose emotion. Train yourself to maintain neutral expressions under pressure. Emotional control at a micro level strengthens macro influence. When others cannot read you, they grow cautious. Mystery increases perceived depth and intelligence. Break emotional cycles deliberately. If someone repeatedly provokes and you repeatedly react, the pattern becomes predictable. Interrupt it. Change your response entirely. Respond slower, softer, or not at all. When expected reactions disappear, manipulators lose rhythm. Disrupting emotional cycles resets power dynamics. Predictability feeds control. Disruption weakens it. Detach from the need to correct disrespect immediately. Sometimes immediate confrontation escalates tension unnecessarily. Evaluate the environment. Choose the moment strategically.
Calm, private correction often holds more weight than public reaction. Public emotion may satisfy ego, but rarely strengthens position. Select timing wisely, control the setting, and you control the outcome. Finally, understand that the ultimate power move is selective silence. Not coldness, not aggression. Silence with awareness, silence with intention, silence with strength. When you stop reacting, stop explaining, and start ignoring strategically, you step above emotional games. You become difficult to manipulate, difficult to provoke, and difficult to control. And in psychological warfare, difficulty is done. Silence is a decision, not weakness. When you refuse to react, you deny others emotional control. Calm restraint shifts power quietly. The less you respond, the more others question themselves. Doubt is stronger than confrontation. Ignore what does not align with your purpose. Distraction is designed to pull you into emotional traps. When you stay focused, provocations lose impact. Discipline in attention creates psychological superiority over impulsive minds. Never defend yourself repeatedly. One clear statement is enough. Repetition signals insecurity. If they choose not to understand, let them. Your consistency over time will speak louder than emotional explanations ever could. Emotional independence is untouchable strength. When your mood does not depend on others' words, manipulation becomes impossible. Detach internally even if you remain present externally. Stability intimidates instability. Let others exhaust themselves trying to provoke you. When reaction fails, frustration grows on their side. Your silence becomes a mirror reflecting their desperation. Controlled indifference creates quiet dominance. Withhold immediate responses. Time creates tension and authority. When you respond instantly, you appear available. When you respond intentionally, you appear valuable. Patience enhances presence. Do not chase validation. Approval is addictive and weakens discipline. When you stop seeking it, your confidence becomes self-sustaining. Self-approval eliminates external leverage. End conversations before they drain you. Leaving calmly restores control. The one who exits first often keeps psychological advantage. Energy preserved is power maintained. Protect your internal peace ruthlessly. Not every opinion deserves space in your mind. Mental boundaries are stronger than spoken ones. Guard your thoughts carefully. Master ignoring strategically. It is not avoidance, it is selection. Choose where to invest emotion, words, and energy. When you control what affects you, you control the battlefield entirely.